Welcome to episode 13 of Explaining Hemp. My name is Sarah Williams, and I am your host. Today, I'm also CEO and founder of Hemp for Healthcare in Alaska and Hemp for Healthcare in America. Today, I'm so excited to be back. Welcome to everybody who's going to join us today. Today, I'm joined by planetary superhero on the scene, Michael Buzinski with Buzzworthy Integrated Marketing. Welcome, Michael. Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming on. Today, we're going to talk about how to brand and market your hemp business. And some of the same rules apply in all kinds of businesses, but we're going to talk about how to do that today. But before we get started with every episode of Explaining Hemp, let's go ahead and pray this thing in. So if you'll bow your heads with me and pray. Heavenly Father, Lord God, I thank you so much for your day today. We rejoice and we're glad in it, Father. I thank you that you brought us together today to educate the people about how to market and how to brand their hemp business for success. Father God, this is your plant, and we honor and we glorify it, but we glorify you, Father, for the way that you brought it to us. So help us to have wisdom. Anoint our lips to give us the right words to say, to educate the people in the way that you want them to be educated. We give all glory and honor and power to you. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. So I want to go ahead and thank this month's sponsor of Mock Technologies. They specialize in offering processing equipment for your hemp extraction needs. And so I definitely recommend. Their information is right down there in the banner. So go ahead and contact them if you have any questions. Stay tuned. We're still working on a sponsor spotlight with Mock Technologies. Because of my time in the stage production and the conference and all things, I've been a little behind the ball. So stay tuned for that, though, and we'll see a quick sponsor spotlight on that. We are looking for a $50 broadcast sponsor for the month of April. So if you're interested in being the broadcast sponsor, please reach out to me. That's a $50 sponsorship. And I'm also looking for a $150 Wi-Fi sponsorship as well. So let's move on. So let's go ahead and get on to today's broadcast. We're going to talk about hemp news. That's our segment for today. We talk about hemp news. So to go to hemp news, let's go ahead and bring up Hemp Industry Daily. They've got probably the better headlines, I think, this week. And so, wait. Can everybody see that? Let's go there. Wait, hold on. There we go. Everybody see that? Okay. So one of the great topics that's at the top here with Laura Dratlev, she writes a great article about hemp foods are a natural fit in the wellness space. I think this is really important. And if you go to the page, you'll see that I've got an upcoming class on April 10th talking about how to cook with hemp. So hemp has this potential to be milk, and it's such an amazing food source and a fat source, and you can just put it as seeds on your salad, and you can do all these amazing things with hemp. But really, how do we cook with it? If we're going to have it as a really common food source in our society, what do we do with it? So I think it's really important to see that these businesses are coming out with different kinds of ways of putting hemp back into the food supply, which is where it belongs. So awesome. One other headline here: removing THC or degrade it. So the question is, of course, we have two genuses of the same species. We have cannabis, which is cannabis sativa, and then we have one that has THC, which is that delta-9 tetrahydrocannabidiol, and then we have the less version, which is our industrial hemp version, which is something you might extract for CBG or CBD or CBN or other cannabinoids, right? I mean, we know the plant is medicinal. It has all of these hundreds of cannabinoids, but everyone is, whether scared is the word or not, they're concerned about psychoactivity, which is that of the THC. And I understand that completely. Of course, being myself, someone who is recovering from 5-year dependency on THC variety of cannabis, I understand that. And I don't want to buy a product in the store believing it has 0 THC to maybe give it to my dog or to give it to my child even, and then have them experience psychoactivity when that was not the idea. So this gives some ideas about how do we remediate, which is the action of taking it out of the plant So some great techniques there. It is coming up planting season, right? Not harvest, planting season. So there's some great tips there about holding and pre-treating hemp and marijuana young plants before transplanting. Talks about how to cut costs and achieve efficiencies when extracting cannabis. This one I really want to note though, real quick, is industry to the Food and Drug Administration. If you've noticed, our Food and Drug Administration here in the United States of America doesn't necessarily always do what's best for the people. Okay. And that is very much witnessed by their allowance of artificial ingredients in our food supply, which is a platform that I'm very much against. And here, though, I don't know if you noticed, but a couple of years, or not even a couple of years ago, maybe even a few months back, I'm not sure how long it was, there was a bit of this push to believe that too much CBD would just somehow destroy your liver. Like that was this big article that came out and everyone was like, oh my gosh, too much CBD. How much is too much? And am I going to kill my liver? And now there's this new study that says, wait a second, there's no evidence of liver disease or elevated liver function in CBD study participants. So I think that's important. But the key though is we still need to recognize you have an endocannabinoid system. I have an endocannabinoid system. Your body naturally produces cannabinoids. It's important to figure out what your levels are and what your deficiencies are when it comes to using a plant as medicine. Let's see if there's anything else. Oh, this is important. And this is actually really relevant to what we're talking about today, which is how hemp and CBD companies can vet celebrity partnerships. Branding and marketing, one element could be to partner with a celebrity, right? Somebody who's got some great influence, and you can say, hey, would you market my product and stand behind it, and all of your people that love you will buy my product. But, there's some things that can go wrong in that case. So I definitely recommend checking out that article for some more details. All right, let's see. Anything else? Nope, that was all last week. So I don't see anything great in the hemp news segment on hemp today, except really talking about some global hemp concerns and things like that. So go check out hemptoday.net. We're going to go ahead and move on and bring on Michael here. He's the expert on the scene today in talking about branding and marketing your hemp business. Okay, hemp is a business, right? Someone said to me the other day, I don't support green businesses. In fact, I was trying to post in their group for a local group here. She said, we don't support green businesses. I said, well, hemp is, it's clothing, it's biofuel, it's food. Like, oh, well, we don't support green businesses. And so I had to educate them. But even then, that didn't change things. So then she said, well, we don't support hemp businesses. We're all about small businesses around here. Well, wait a second. Hemp is small businesses too. So it's really important to see the business side of hemp. And that's what we're going to focus on these next few weeks, is focusing on not only the branding and marketing, maybe the retailing. We're going to discuss also like safety and compliance and accounting and business admin and things of that, just to make sure that your hemp business is solid and has a solid foundation. But without this key important part that Michael brings to the table, hello, you're not going to sell anything. You can't market and brand your product, you're not going to sell anything. So I do want to give total props though, because the first time that I met Michael and he sat with me, and he chat, and we did it. Okay, sat with me. We did a Zoom call. Come on, it's COVID season. And he shared with me, he said, if you just take it from hemp for healthcare in Alaska to hemp for healthcare in America, you're going to have a greater reach. And so I instantly reached out. I had my team develop the Hemp for Healthcare in America logo, and we branded it kind of to that next level and developed the program a little bit further. So he's responsible for the idea that we can have a state centralized healthcare system in every state around America and fund it using the proceeds coming from the hemp industry. So praise God for him. So Michael, I'd love it if you could just share with our audience a little bit about you, a little bit about your business, and what it is that you do for other businesses.
Okay. Thanks, Sarah. So my name is Michael Buzinski. Everybody calls me Buzz. And I originally Started my business back in 2005 officially. I've been in marketing for about 30 years. I am a Air Force veteran. And when I got out, I was in Alaska, stationed at Elmendorf Air Force Base. I started actually out as a recording studio for working musicians. And quickly realized that surviving off of starving musicians was a bad business plan. And so I pivoted to small businesses, which in many cases isn't too far off either. But over the years, I've been able to help a lot. I've worked with over 750 brands in everything from TV, radio, print, digital marketing. 2005 was kind of where digital marketing had its real early it was infancy at that point. And really for small business, it wasn't accessible. The best thing we could do is log on to Facebook, post something to our followers. That was back when you could actually talk to your fans and not get censored by Facebook or Instagram or any of them. Right. So that was before the pay to play era of the 2000 teens. And so my whole mission is small business, service-based businesses, and I work with products as well, e-commerce and whatnot. And so my goal is to really simplify the process of digital marketing right now. There are a lot of people out there making it a lot more complicated than they really need to. And the reason they do that is so that they can charge you more and keep you on as a client longer while they try to figure out how to actually market. COVID actually has brought on a plethora of novices and hacks into my industry, which really makes it difficult for us to stand out. And so we actually in our industry are coming under fire, much like hemp, where people have this misconception of the majority of the industry, right? And so it becomes an education piece. And so that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you guys understand that, like you said, hemp, anywhere you are in hemp, I mean, I don't think any hemp organization yet has surpassed a medium-sized business level yet. And which leaves probably, I don't have the numbers, but I'm sure it's in the 90 percentile small business.
Yeah. Yeah. And it leaves a tremendous amount of growth, right? That's exciting in itself too, is because and let's be real, I understand that I have a lot of followers that hate big corporations because they've seen the greed of what greed can do to when you put people under profits and you make profits this like guiding light that's somehow going to save the world. And we realize here that people are what save the world. Saving people is what matters. And so with hemp, though, we have this great opportunity to just grow. And so with that, let's go right into that. So the truth is, we know branding and marketing will absolutely break your business or it'll make your business, right? So it's important to know, and I know this in my life, let's just be real, guys. You guys haven't heard much from me over the past couple of weeks because I've been in transition. I've got some personal things going on. And I haven't been able to put out, my products out there and make posts and do a lot of that social media marketing. And thus my visits to my website have plummeted. So, I recognize that if I don't do my part, if I don't put it out there, but it's important, right? Consistency, things like that. So tell me, we know that having kind of a powerful marketing plan and branding team, which is what I know your business specializes in. Can you explain some of the things that we need to consider as hemp businesses when, creating a brand and market plan for our business or product?
Yeah, sure. I've worked with a lot of hemp businesses and did a lot of branding of the early adopters when hemp was legalized in Alaska. And you can see them up and down 4th Avenue and all over town. And the biggest thing that I've seen, the people who are the most successful are the ones who really don't get too married to the old, I don't want to say, just the idea of what hemp is, right?
Yes.
And so stoners, hippies, that kind of thing, right? It's easy to do that. And it's easy to have a shop that has a cult following of those types, especially in Alaska. They're everywhere. They were there before, they'll be there after, and you still have some purists who will not go into their buddy's shop just because they're like, I ain't paying the taxes. Yeah, I got my own at home, type of thing, right? So I say that because it is a business, right? And in marketing, you have to identify your competitive advantage before you can properly market your business. And so if everybody's selling a new commodity, really, which is hemp, right? And there's many forms of it, but let's look at cars. There's many forms of cars. They all do various things. Trucks have a different use than a Volkswagen Bug does versus a minivan versus a sports car, stuff like that. But they all get people from point A to point B. Right. So each brand has created their niche, their target market. Who do they want to deal with? Mercedes-Benz wants to deal with people, affluent people who want to travel in style, right? And in luxury, right? And so you need to find out, what does your product bring to your target audience? Who is your perfect client? Who do you want walking through the door over and over and over again into your shop? If you're a supplier, what type of retailers do you want to be dealing with? Once you've identified that, it becomes very easy to market or create that message, right? And that message needs to go directly there. The biggest problem with small businesses, they try to be everything to everyone, which creates zero identity. And without identity, it's just whoever's closer, right? It's not like if there's a convenience store down the road, and it is a nondescript convenience store versus the 7-Eleven that's just further down, most people will probably get the first one because it doesn't matter. They're trying to, it's there. You have it, right? So with this is a choice, right? Unless you're doing medicinal, and that's a different story altogether. But if we're doing recreational, it's like, what type of client do I want to come through the door? And then you have to market to that. One of the pitfalls that I've seen early on is that almost every single brand in Alaska uses the hemp leaf in their brand, in their logo, right? You're not going to reach the masses if you keep saying this is Stonerville.
Yeah.
The majority of the people, there are people, I smoked weed my whole life. That was what I did as a kid till I was in the service, and then I couldn't for 10 years, and then I got out and I smoked again, right? And then once I had the candies, I'm a candy guy, right? So I love stores. I love going to stores who have the right candy, tastes good, stuff like that, right? So I am the target market, the 35 plus professional who doesn't necessarily want to have a drink at night to relax, maybe just a half of a candy or a gummy or whatever it is, a brownie, all those things that we have there. If you put yourself in front of the masses as a main street alternative to alcohol, which has a bad rep, what are those possibilities?
Right.
So I challenge people when they're dealing with hemp to look at just the regular everyday guy or gal person and say, okay, out of those, who do I like to help? And then focus on those.
Right there. So I want to say, when you're looking at other industrial hemp products, right, we're looking at, let's say, clothing, right? Hemp t-shirt. So a hemp t-shirt, you're going to market that to people that care about the planet. You're going to have a specific focus, because when we plant hemp, we absorb carbon emissions and we clean the soil, and we don't have pesticides, and and so that hemp t-shirt is going to, so that's your first focus, is people who are green minded, right? So really just look, so what I'm hearing is take your product and look at the people, because if you've got a hemp wood pen that's $75, which is what I have, you're not going to be marketing to somebody who wants to buy a $5 pen. You're going to be looking at that executive or those high level people who want that thing to say, hey, look, we can stop deforestation. And here's an example of this hemp wood pen, right? So yeah, go ahead.
So I want to go back to the clothing first.
Yeah.
You don't, just because it's made of hemp doesn't mean you have to lead the product name with the word hemp. How many cotton t-shirts do you buy at the store? How many nylon t-shirts do you wear? How many
Yeah.
shirts, right? So if we have earth shirts or something that actually talks to what it actually stands for. If you're talking about deforestation and all the chemicals and all that stuff, lead with that and have hemp at the bottom, or just leave it on the tag. That's what it's made out of. It doesn't matter what it's made out of to the person. You say hemp, just like that lady you talked to there. I don't support marijuana, businesses, right? And it's like she had all of these excuses because she has the stereotype of, oh, you're one of those, you're a stoner. You're a stoner. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know. I'm not gonna support that, right? But if I sit there, I have a new clothing line that does all of these things for Mother Earth, and oh my gosh, have you felt it? It feels so good. Oh my goodness gracious! And then what is it made out of? All natural materials, right? I mean, you don't. It's not that you have to lie about it, but don't make it the top. Make it like the last thing they ask, because then it's like, oh, and it's made out of hemp. Yeah. So it doesn't, and this is why it's important that it's made out of hemp, and all of the ecological issues right there that you're probably just going to recap out of the benefits of buying a hemp shirt, right? And hemp cotton and all the other things that go along with it. So then you go to your pen. You have a hemp pen, or do I have an eco pen?
Right. Yeah. That buzzword right there, Vico. Yeah. Yep. Do I have a Save the Trees pen? I have a Save the Trees pen. Yeah, for sure. I love that. So it is about the words you use. I mean, we know in life, it is about the word. Everything in life is about the words you use, how you speak over your life, how you speak over other lives. But the words you use in your business to describe your product are so vitally important. So if you're not a good wordsmith, I like to say that I am, but I can always improve. Find someone who is. And that's why it's important to hire an agency that has an idea. Like, what are people, dude, marketing is about psychology, right? It's about really understanding the humans out there that are going to be buying your product. Who are your end customers? The end customer for the hempcrete is going to be different for the maybe hemp cat litter, right? Two different end customers. And so it is, I love what you said about maybe not necessarily calling it hemp cat litter or hemp whatever, but calling it something that still applies to the earth saving capabilities. So that's really good.
Yeah, I mean, and I use that as one example, right? The kitty litter has a different connotation, like low dust or whatever the benefit of using hemp for the product brings to the consumer. And then you have to then you have to test that, right? And marketing is about psychology. And the great thing about psychology is all you have to do is go ask people about it, right? So you come up with a concept of the Save the Trees pen. Will you buy my Save the Trees pen? Look at it. And they're like, how much is it? Well, it's $75. It's made out of an exotic material that that saves trees and reduces deforestation, blah, 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 right? And you ask 100 people and they go, yeah, I would buy that. And well, how much would you buy it for? Is $75 too high, too low, right? Well, I'd pay $50. Oh, okay, great. Thanks for your input. And the next person, I'd pay $100 for that. And another person, and then you find it's like, oh, wow, okay. And these averages start coming in. That's called market research. That is not a mystical thing that, I mean, there are agencies in this town who will charge you thousands upon thousands of dollars. Like, the time is there, but you can ask your core those questions and get a good idea whether you're going down the right road or not.
Yep, absolutely. And I think it's important to not get offended. I think, like, something that I've noticed, you can't get offended by your potential customer's opinion. Stand solid in what you're trying to do, but be willing to adapt, be willing to change, be willing to be, you are there to please them. If you'd like to sell something, you need to be adaptable to what your customer wants and needs. But until you ask the questions, you don't know. And you're just going, well, this is what I would buy. Well, are you your ideal customer? Maybe not,
Another thing that's it, and I see what I see people do, and I'm talking like multi-million-dollar marketers, people who are they got bestseller books and stuff like that. They go and do this same process, and then they come back and they look at the data and they still think they know better, right? And then you have to do this gut check. Am I going to? I just did this exercise for a reason. It's scientific, right? All right, so maybe I should just listen to the science because you fall in love with your brand, right? You fall in love with the message, right? You're testing to see whether that message connects with other people, and how many of those. Because not everybody's going to like your message, period. But as long as enough.
So let me give a perfect example of that. I had a pride check when Buzz here told me that, not everybody's going to want to just support hemp for healthcare in Alaska, right? Because if they live in Texas, why would they want to support Alaska? Maybe they'd want to support all of America. And I was like, but it's my home state, and it's my home, and it's my, and I had to deal with that, pride wise. And then I had to be like, but wait, he's right. I prayed about it, right? I let the Holy Spirit work on me. And lo and behold, here we are. So yeah, it's not about you. It's not about you. It's about them. It's about your customer. It's about the market. It's about you positively impacting the market with your product. That's what it is, right? Awesome.
If you go back to what your mission is, if you get into the hemp business to make money, go get a job. Right? Because you're in the wrong place. You should not own a business unless you have a mission, right? And it doesn't have to be a huge mission. Your mission could be that you want to create a lifestyle through helping people, blah, 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 blah. And it doesn't have to be noble, right? It could just be like, I just want people to have this flavor because this flavor rocks, right? Whatever it is, as grandiose as it is or simple as it is, as long as it's not just making money, you're good to go, right? And so when you go back to that your message permeates from that real quickly and naturally. And that authenticity is what people buy into. And you just got to test whether you're presenting that correctly or not.
Right. Absolutely. And one of the things I've noticed with all the different types of products that I have on Hemp for Healthcare is creating the realization is you got to create a marketing plan around each product. That there's not I'm just going to just put out my website to everybody and they're going to go there and they're going to find everything they need and they're going to love it. It's not like that. It doesn't work. So you really have to look at the details of your product and it takes time. It's a development process. It's not something and don't do this to yourself where you expect okay, I'm going to spend 5 minutes thinking about this stuff, maybe 10, put a little bit of maybe even a couple days. Okay. It might take it's going to take longer than that. Let's just be real for you to test things and try things and figure out sorry, my dog is playing with a plastic bottle. So it's the only good use for plastic, period. So you really have to test these things and you've got to see, if they work and listening to feedback and hold on, stop. Yeah, please, Bubba, please. Thank you. Okay. So where was I going with that? Oh, so staying authentic. You mentioned that. Remember to stay rooted in yourself and your mission. Be willing to change your mission. I get that to some degree. I mean, don't take away that which makes up the coreness of the brand. But
I was thinking, I was saying more of if you have your mission, your authentic message will come out. When you test that message, you have to be open to whether or not it's resonating. You don't change the mission. You just change how you describe your mission until people get it.
Right. All right. Absolutely. Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much for that great tidbit on how to kind of talk about that. Let's go into our next question. So you have this team that you've created that helps market things and what's sorry guys, no, that's loud background. What are some of the ways that your team works to help businesses get their products into the hands of find consumers. So how do you work with businesses and hemp businesses in this space? And why is it important to have a marketing plan? I mean, why? Why should we take all that time?
Well, let's start with that, because that's a great question. You want a marketing plan so that you understand where your business is coming from. Because if you're a brick and mortar and you decide that you're going to build it and they will come, you'll be a very poor business owner. If you build a website and think that, oh, now I'm on the internet and everybody will be able to find me and I'll post a couple things on my social media, as I always do, and they will come, right? That's not a strategy. Those are tactics, and those are venues for people to buy from you, right? So a marketing strategy allows you a roadmap, a forever changing roadmap. Let me say that up front, but at least a roadmap that are in the general direction in which you're going to go. Otherwise, all of the opportunities that are going to be presented to you as a business owner for marketing will derail your focus. And a campaign with zero focus is a campaign with zero return on investment. So that's where an agency or a marketing consultant can come into, right? I hate saying the word agency. We're a marketing firm. Agencies have a bad connotation because a lot of the digital agencies nowadays, you got to be careful who you're hiring, because there's, like I said before, there's a lot of hacks out there just jumped in because it's easy to go and find a freelancer and they're good and the owner's a good salesperson. And so they just bring them in the front as far as sales and then hands it off to a freelancer and has no idea what's going on. Right. And that's not what you need. You need somebody where your account manager and your company's leadership has years of experience bringing to you so that you can stay focused, that you don't go down rabbit holes that are going to just waste you time, energy, and money. Because in business, those three things misused will bankrupt you faster than anything. Okay. You can have all the sales in the world, but if you're spinning your wheels and not doing it profitably, you're out of business still. Okay. So what I do first, I talk to every one of my clients that come into my business, and I find out if we're even a good fit, because some people are not ready for a marketing firm to work for them. And for those people, we have do-it-yourself tools. And so we productized and created software platforms for people to be able to manage their own fledgling marketing campaigns. And we point them in the right direction. We give them some guidance. The platforms give guidance and keep them on there. And so as they grow and they become people with more money than time, then they can start delegating. And they're using our platforms. And so that's great. We can adopt really quickly. You're not losing any ground there. So that's what my mission is to make marketing simple and easy. Doesn't matter what phase of business you are. If you're brand new and you have all the time in the world and $0, okay, we've got some stuff for you. If you're successful and you're looking to scale, but you need one, higher level marketing strategies, and two, you don't have the time to manage a growing campaign, we've got the done for you as well. And then most people are right in the middle. They're this do it with you. And so now you have this teammate, I hate using partner because it's cliche now, but so you have a team that's working with you though, and has a vested interest in your success, because your success is my success. And my team understands that because it's their job, right? So that's where we're at. We simplify, identify, and promote.
I think that's solid. I think
that's the first time I said that way. I got to write that down. I'm sorry.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Woo, woo. I love that. No, I think it's important to realize, in business, one of the things that we feel like sometimes is one of the most riskiest investments is marketing, right? Because it can be wrong. It can not work. It can be not effective. It cannot bring it. I mean, we spend money to try to make money, right? Like we spend money to get those customers, to acquire them, to bring them to the game. And so the money that I've spent on marketing, just trying to figure it out on my own, doing Google AdWords and this and that, and being not educated, spending hours on like YouTube, like, okay, how do I make a marketing plan? What am I supposed to do? Like, it can be so overwhelming. And so is it worth it to fund, if you have the funds to pay for a consultant to buy your team in that way, do it. Because it's so, if it's not your strong point, don't make yourself an expert at it, because you won't be. Like, it'll take a lot of time and a lot of effort. And so if you have the funds to invest in a marketing firm to help you, do that. Make sure you choose wisely. Of course, I'm going to sit here and say, hello, Buzzworthy Integrated Marketing, call them. But the truth is you know, marketing is important. And again, we say it makes or breaks your business. And so if you have those times, if you do not put in the time, though, it just won't work. Let's just be real. It won't work.
Can I add to your message? So you don't have to have an ongoing cost of a marketing firm. You can get in consultation and just getting pointed in the right direction. I have clients that come to me every 3 months and say, this is what I did in the last 90 days. They just pay by the hour. We spend a couple hours and we get them on the right track. So we do some work in discovery and identifying what can we do to mitigate the risks. There's a bigger risk not marketing and not investing in your marketing than there is doing marketing wrong. Oh, yes, but you can increase your success by getting coached. Athletes don't get better unless they get coached. Business owners don't get better unless they get coached. Marketing does not get better unless you get a good coach, right? And testing a coach, any coach that's worth their salt will give you at least a half an hour of their time so that they can feel what they have to offer. Okay. And then if they're still confident, they'll be willing to charge you by the hour, and it's going to be expensive by the hour. You're going to look at it and go, oh my God, I'm $250. If you just want my time for an hour, because the value that I bring is 10 times that every time, right? Because if I make you one thing that makes you one extra sale every day, that's 30 extra sales. What does that actually come out to, right? So your return on investment's there. So it's not necessarily that you have to go out and spend big money on big firms or big campaigns and stuff like that. It's really to understand what you don't know and not to focus on things you're weak at. As a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you must spend your majority of your time on the things that you are the strongest at, and then put people around you that are better at you and smarter at you on all the other things in that business. Like you were talking, CPAs, admin, all the things. I don't do that stuff. And if I did, my business would be much smaller and I would be unable to help as many people as I do.
Yep, and it's really important to just be humble. Guys, we don't know everything, and be willing to delegate, okay? You get rid of those control freak issues you got going on, okay?
Yes, please.
Come on, we're all business owners. We get it. Like, yep, I want to control everything. I get it. You've got to delegate. You've got to say, okay, no, I'm going to trust you with this portion because of your experience. Also, be very careful to not, one of the things that business owners coming into business for the first time, and I know I've made this mistake multiple times, unfortunately, it took me a while to learn my lesson, was that you naturally want to hire your friends and family, right? Because they love your idea and they love what you're doing, and you're and you see potential in them, oh yeah, they're okay with numbers, they could do this part, or oh, they're pretty good with sales, they tell me they're good, they could do that. But you just let me give you that tidbit. Don't because now I know family run businesses work, I've seen it multiple times, but let me just give you the tidbit of advice to say, go find someone who has the skills that you're looking for. Someone in the marketplace that already has the skills, because then you won't ruin relationships within your family because they're not meeting your expectations. Right?
Another thing that goes with that, Sarah, is the fact that accountability.
Yes.
In doing business. So yes, you're going to be slower to fire them if they can't deliver, right? I don't know how many times I've got a nephew who's really good at computers and that social media stuff. He's going to put me on Snapchat and we'll be good, right? Right. That story. And I've seen family-owned businesses work. I've also seen big family-owned businesses not work more times, right? So it's a risk. It's not that it's destined to fail, but there are a lot of things you have to set the company up with a lot of parameters, right? And so if you're going to hire somebody within your family, you definitely have to have very strict and very black and white written down and signed parameters. This is what I expect from you. This is what I'm going to pay for you. If it's not this way, we agree to disagree and go our separate ways. But the the biggest point though is accountability. Somebody that you're not emotionally tied to is going to give you the advice that you really need.
That's
and
so
they're not
good.
worried about making you feel bad.
Yeah, that's so important. And so we feel that connection to a friend or to a family member, so we kind of automatically trust them, and I see that. But we need advice that is going to grow us. We need advice that's going to take us to our next level. And those that are family members, they love us, and they don't want to hurt our feelings. And dude, I would much rather have my feelings hurt in business to be told the truth than to be walking around believing I'm doing great when in fact I'm not.
Well, one more fact on that, or context on that. What about the pushback you need to give your person who's giving you advice? So that you feel good and you feel successful? Because it's not I hire somebody, tell me what to do, I go do it. It's I hire somebody, they show me some things that I didn't know, and we discuss ways to take that information, synthesize it, and create action. So it's a two-way street. So if you got your loving mother sitting there going, oh, honey, she's already got a bias, right? Oh, it looks so good. I love how you did the snakes around that with the hemp. Oh, I love it. I'm like, yay, right? And then you're like, but mom, and you don't know how to push back because they don't know how to give you critical information. So you can't be critical back, right? And in business, that's what you have. I have a product client who has two manufacturers. And one manufacturer has gone out of their way to help her over the last year. Okay, it's a brand new product. And the problem is that the manufacturer she started talking to 6 months ago is actually a better manufacturer and has better ideas and has better turnaround time and might have a better deal. She's talking about, well, maybe I should just buy 250 units from that person just because they were so good. And I'm just like, no, it's okay. That's what they do. You're not their only client, right? ... Right? It's like, it's business. Don't throw money away and don't worry. I mean, you want to be cordial when you're doing business, but you have to do what's good for the business because it's what puts food on your table.
Yeah, for sure. So no, I agree with that completely. It's really learning how to separate the emotions from the business side of things, and in a way that doesn't destroy relationships. I mean, keep your maturity, keep things, going where they need to go. But yeah, it's really important. So thank you. Great discussion there. Awesome. Well, I want to thank Buzz again, Mr. Michael Buzinski, for coming in and sharing. Great conversation today. I really believe that we covered like a large thing regarding branding and marketing. And that's the key to explaining hemp is we touch on it. And then you come to me and you say, hey, I do want to open a hemp business. How can I get started? And I say to you, okay, I got this. I can get you registered. I got this person I can get you connected with. I got this person. I'm your connector to each of these areas. And so feel free to reach out to me, hempforhealthcare.com. Get all my information there. So, but I want to thank everybody. If this is the first time you're joining us, please, wherever you're watching, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, please follow. If this is something that you found powerfully impactful, please share the broadcast. It is all about the Hemp for Healthcare model. So here's what is it? If you don't know about it, the Hemp for Healthcare model is really simple. We grow hemp because it's a brand new American industry, Alaskan industry, and then we tax it. I'm not talking a ton. I'm talking maybe 10, 15%. And we put that revenue inside of a healthcare fund, a state centralized healthcare fund. And then we process that hemp biomass into the thousands of products that can be used: plastics, biofuel, food, clothing, building materials, medicine. Come on, go watch those episodes. And then we take the profits from your sales on hempforhealthcare.com and we put that money into your state centralized healthcare fund, because we know that America needs healthcare. We know it. We watch other countries that have nationalized healthcare service, And we sit back and we're so jealous. But yet Americans are slated with millions of dollars, thousands of dollars in medical bills that leave them bankrupt and in debt and broken, and they're scared to even go to the doctor because they don't have health insurance. This can change, and this can change without raising taxes exponentially on you and me and everyone else. We can do it with the Hemp for Healthcare model. So when you buy hemp on hempforhealthcare.com, you're not only supporting the hemp industries across America and here in Alaska, but one day you'll be funding healthcare for you, your family, and everyone, because we know that a healthy society is a prosperous society. So the other two pieces, though, is that this isn't just about healthcare here for all people. It's also for the most vulnerable. And that is the industrial hemp prison program and the hemp houses for the homeless. So the industrial hemp prison program means we teach our prisoners to grow hemp and process hemp and sell that to the government. So the government is no longer spending my tax dollars and yours on buying things from China or other countries out there. Instead, they're buying it directly from residents within our own state. And the last piece is the hemp houses for the homeless. And that's building a house out of every possible hemp product we can think of. Hempcrete, hemp wood, hemp paint, hemp mattresses, all things hemp. And then we place individuals who are homeless with no income, low income, into these houses with a focus on recovery. And so that is the initiative that you're supporting when you choose to buy hemp on hempforhealthcare.com. And so I really want to thank you for coming and supporting me on this mission. I am looking for donors. I am looking for people who are ready to take this to the next level. I do need investors, right? I need a brick and mortar store investor, and I need our hemp processing plant investors, because here in Alaska, that's our next step, is to get a processing plant going. So I don't see any questions in the comments. And I'm looking at this moment, we don't have any live viewers. So no Q&A at the moment. But I want to thank you all hold on, guys. I want to thank you all for joining me. And so, Buzz, how can the people learn more about you? And where can they find you?
Super simple. We are at buzzworthy.biz. Super simple. I can put that in the comments here for you guys, so you have it, or maybe I can't. Nope, I can't. I can do it. Oh,
do you got the website? www.buzzworthy,
BUZZWORTHY.biz.
Okay, there we go.
Beautiful. There you go. You just go right there, and we basically lay everything out there. You can reach out to us from there if you have any questions. We always give our first 30 minutes of discovery for absolutely no obligation. There are people who are not a good fit for what we do, but I always make sure that they're pointed in the right direction by the time they get off our meeting, for sure.
Perfect. Awesome. Great. Well, please join us next week as we discuss how to sell and retail hemp products. What are some ideas for merchandising? What are some ideas to get those products in the hand? Because the truth is, guys, you know this. If you don't buy hemp, if you don't #buy hemp, none of this works. Okay. So buy hemp. Choose to purchase a hemp product instead of another one of these earth-destroying industry kind of products, right? So you buy hemp, but how do we do it? How do we sell? So we're going to discuss that next week, April 10th, 9 a.m. Alaska Standard Time. And then moving into our kind of administrative segment as we begin the planting season. I'm really, really excited about that. So now let me bless you and send you on your way to be the world changers that I'm calling you to be. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May he shine his face upon you, and may he be gracious to you. May he show you his favor and give you peace. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, I'll see you all next week. God bless. God bless America. God bless Alaska. Thanks.